since we're on that. Your numbers, owed 100K, underbid at 40K is the highest bid, which the bank bid.
Yeah.
Are they using as leverage?
Is who?
Is the lender
No,
using as leverage and pulling the plug on the short sale?
no.
They bought it at sheriff's sale for 40, you know what I mean? It's somewhere between a week and a handshake, they're saying, no, we bought this thing at 40 back, we're not gonna approve the short sale no matter what.
Well, no, that really has no bearing on it, but here is the twist in that example. Let's use an example. I owed 102, we think it's worth 50, the bank bid it to 45. Now they can come after me for the difference. Let's say the market swung way up, and I'm in that 6-month redemption, and you guys find me a buyer for $75,000. Guess what? I can sell that house for $75,000, pay off the $45,000 they bid, and I get to pocket the difference. Because
The
understand
homeowner?
that? Of the homeowner. Providing there's not a second lien. I got a lot of people looking at me funky on that one. Okay.
Yeah, kinda,
Let's go over that again. I owed round numbers, I owed $100,000. The bank bid it to 45. My redemption rights in the state of Michigan allow me to do what? Refinance it, pay off the redemption, keep it or sell it. What is my current payoff on a redemption, not the payoff of the loan? Legally, I can redeem my property for the $45,000. Anything over that I get to keep. However, I may have the bank behind me coming after me for the difference. Anybody know how long the bank's got to come after me?
10 years.
Okay, well, this gets a little more interesting. Bank foreclosed, it's all done. I'm out of the house, the loss is $45,000. The bank has 6 years to file a motion to get a judgment for the difference. So, and if they don't ever contact me and it passes 6 months, I'm in the clear. They can't, I'm sorry, 6 years. 100% of the time, that when the bank goes to the courts, the judge awards them the judgment. Why? You borrowed the money, you spent the money, you owe the money. Now that judgment's good for
10 years.
10 years. So you have 6 years they have to file, 10 years for the judgment, and guess what, when that 10 years expires? They can renew it 2 times in 5-year increments. Do the math, that's 26 years. Your question, are banks coming after? Absolutely.
Rick, I had heard they also sell those judgments off for pennies on the dollars to
Yeah.
investors, and the investors, that's what
Yep.
they're doing.
Yeah, and here's how ugly these things are getting. And you're gonna see more and more of this on the TV, the internet, where the bank, let's use my example, they had lost $55,000 on my example. The bank is gonna determine, do we wanna chase this guy or do we wanna sell it off to investors or collection companies? Most of the banks just sell it off. Now, what can the investors and or collection departments do to come after you? Well, they can guarantee your wages. They can walk into your bank and say, how much does Mr. Smith have in the bank? Well, he has $4,000. Give me all but $25 without even notifying you. Guess what else they can do? Go down to the sheriff, say, will you come with me, please? They go get a writ of execution. Anybody know what that is? Writ of execution goes as follows. John's example, let's say I'm the person that bought John's loss. I then go to the courts, get a writ of execution. My company owns this debt or collection. I take a police officer or a deputy, I get to knock on John's door. Hi John, how are you?
Can we use someone else as an example?
John, you owe me $45,000. Give me that watch, empty out your wallet, give me your couch, give me your TV. I can take anything out of his home or off his body with the exception of wedding rings. I know some people want to give them up quick because you know what? They cannot touch wedding rings. I then take all the personal items from him. I can take automobiles if I think there's equity in the car where it's paid off. isn't nothing you can do. This is happening. I then take all of John's stuff, I then have to sell it at an auction, after auction fees and everything like that. Guess what I can do tomorrow? Hi, John, what'd you get new?
Back and get more stuff.
For 26 years. Explain that to your homeowner. So you just want to let it go to foreclosure, Mr. Homeowner?
Wow.
That's how ugly this is getting, folks, and it's happening and happening every day. Why is it happening? Guess who's forcing the banks to go after people?
The government?
Our federal government. Here's their reasoning, which is a good reasoning. People, the investors out on Wall Street, the millions of people out there, if there's no repercussion for somebody letting a house go to foreclosure, the people on Wall Street are not going to do what? They're not going to buy the mortgage as an investment. If they stop buying mortgages, guess what happens to somebody getting a mortgage? Nobody's going to want to write a mortgage. If they can just write it, sign your name, and walk away from it, would you guys buy that as a long-term investment? Heck no. So the government's putting heat to these lenders to go after people so it doesn't stop what's going on right now, and hopefully the recovery that's supposedly going on. So, going back to, you only have 3 options to get out of your mortgage, folks. So if you won't sign, like your example, your homeowner won't sign a deficiency, what's your options?
My point was basically being, us in the industry, flexing our muscles to the bank saying, why are you gonna foreclose on this?
Now,
You're giving me unreasonable,
Okay,
there's
here's
back
what's-
unreasonable comps and
my need is
APOs,
terrible.
not supplying the value of the house.
Here is why banks want to do short sales. Believe me, they want to. Let's use round numbers again. My spelling and writing is terrible. Let's say I borrowed $100,000 over 30 years, 360 payments. With interest back in the old day when I did this was like 7%. If I paid every payment, I borrowed $100,000, I paid every payment till the very last one on time, I would have paid the bank how much money? Approximately $300,000. You guys understand that? My contract, I signed for 100, I'm going to pay back 300. Now, everybody knows what PMI is, private mortgage insurance? There's 2 insurances. There's private mortgage insurance on a lot of FHA loans where the homeowner pays private mortgage insurance every month to protect who? The
Them.
bank. They ain't protecting them because they can come after them for the deficiencies all they want. It protects the bank. The other, if it doesn't have homeowner paid private mortgage insurance, there is underlying mortgage insurance for the investors. And that is buried in the formula of the interest rate. You understand me there? So if I did a conventional loan for you, it has no PMI, and I'm Bank of America, somewhere I have an insurance policy that covers your mortgage. You understand that? Here, no?
No.
Okay. If I borrowed $100,000 and did FHA, my payments are XYZ, $800. My private mortgage insurance is $80. That's normal. A conventional will have, it would be like a corporate policy, if you want to call it that. You don't know about it as a homeowner. It's factored into the interest rate. The interest rate is 3.25%. Well, 0.25% goes into a kitty to cover any potential future losses. That's up to the lender if they want to privately insure their own mortgages.
Okay, so conventional doesn't necessarily automatically have any kind of insurance.
Majority of them do behind the back door. You
Okay.
don't see it as conventional. PMI on an FHA, you see it's right on your
No,
statement.
I'm with
Okay.
that, I'm just not with the other underlying that
Yeah.
the consumer would not know about.
Yeah, so that's what that is. It's just like anybody lease a car here. If you lease a car, you have a residual. When you turn the car back in, there's an insurance policy to ensure the value of that car is going to meet what it comes back at. You don't know it, it's factored into your payment. You just don't see it. Same thing holds here. Now here's why they want to do short sales.